KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Itanu program. Cars Plus, visit today during our spring sales event. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Coming up on KUAM News Primetime, the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare approved the corrective action plan for Guam's only public hospital, plus an overwhelming amount of support and praise for Adjutant General nominee Esther Agigi. And the theme and plans for Guam's 75th liberation were unveiled this morning during a press conference.
Off and good evening, everyone. 24 hours after the Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division was activated to investigate a fatal crash in Agate, they're activated once again to respond to a fatal crash in Jigo.
The crash occurred here along Route 1 near the Jigo Bank of Guam. Rush hour traffic at a snail's pace as both lanes north and south were blocked as Highway Patrol began their investigation and medics responded to the scene. Guam Fire Department spokesperson Kevin Riley reporting that 3 cars were involved in the collision. He adds one of the drivers passed away and was transported to the Guam Regional Medical City. The occupants in the other vehicles received minor injuries and were treated on scene. This afternoon's crash follows the early morning traffic fatality in Agate. GPD is asking the community to come forward with information as they are still trying to identify the driver. Meanwhile, this marks the 9th traffic-related fatality of the year and ahead of the Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol upcoming launch of its safety program, Be Seen, Be Safe, and Be Smart campaign. The program is based on what's called the 4 E's: education, enforcement, engineering, and emergency medical services. GPD announced the program was in the works back in February during our weekly Facebook Live Crime Time show. Police spokesperson Paul Tapao today telling KUAM the campaign is almost ready to roll out.
What we've done is actually we brought major stakeholders to the table to discuss how we're going to launch the program. So some of the few things that we're looking at is the engineering aspect. We've already identified in how we're going to go out, but we really do need to sit down with the engineering aspect of the certain roadways that do affect us, with that we've identified. That's either auto pedestrian crashes, MC spills, or high volumes of crashes that result in fatal crashes. But we are still moving forward with this initiative. It's going to be, again, a holistic approach with the community about safe driving mannerism and, of course, pedestrian safety.
The Be Seen, Be Safe, Be Smart campaign is in partnership with various community organizations, as well as with the Department of Public Works Office of Highway Safety. The decision to launch the program follows last year's tragic and alarming amount of traffic-related fatalities, which totaled 23.
Crisis averted. The hospital's amended corrective action plan has been approved by the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare, and that preserves GMH's eligibility for millions of dollars in federal reimbursements. Hospital CEO Lillian Posadas.
Very pleased and very elated that the Medicare find us to be compliant with the conditions of participation. That we are supposed to make sure that our services are premised on those conditions. It was a team effort that we put it all together, and they accepted it. Yes.
After a February inspection, GMH was found non-compliant with 2 conditions of participation, and CMS warned that it faced termination from the program. Medicaid reimbursements represent as much as 40% of the hospital's revenues.
That's what their goal is, to work with us to make the necessary changes to improve and be in compliance with the conditions of participation, in the best interest of the patients that we serve. And that's really what their goal is.
Posada says CMS could still be back for another surprise inspection at any time. Adjutant General nominee Colonel Esther Agigi breezed through a confirmation hearing with overwhelming supporting testimony. Chris Barnett has more.
Legislative Military Oversight Senator Jose Pito Terlahi set the tone early in Adjutant General nominee Colonel Esther Agigi's confirmation hearing.
We're going to confirm you, guaranteed. So, and that's not even an understatement, ladies and gentlemen.
Bureau of Women's Affairs head Jane Flores citing Agigi's list of firsts.
Being the first and only female officer in the Guam National Guard to have graduated from the 10-month resident class of the United States Army War College in 2017. Colonel Agagi is also the first woman to have been named a sergeant in the Air National Guard and the first woman to have commanded a battalion level in the Guam National Guard. It is appropriate that our first Magahaga, Lourdes Leon Guerrero, would appoint Colonel Agagi to become the first female Adjutant General of the Guam National Guard.
Agagi telling the senatorial panel she's already acted on guard issues reported in the Leon Guerrero Tenorio Transition Report.
The Guam Army National Guard has revised personnel actions processes to attract a wider pool of applicants, to address gaps in retirement eligibility, and to increase the female ratio in key leadership positions.
Emotions ran high as Senator Regine Bisco Lee asked Agagi about anonymous attacks on her qualifications. Lee asked if Agagi could still be fair.
I am a Christian, a spouse, and a mother. In that order, I turn to prayer. And what keeps me centered? I pray for my enemies.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Several senators pledged their full support for Agagi. The rules and regulations for gambling at the Liberation Carnival are closer to being finalized. The legislature held a public hearing Tuesday night to discuss the latest draft and proposed amendments. Senators will need to vote soon, though, as the clock is ticking for the festivities to begin. Nestor Lecanto reports.
As the carnival organizer, the Mayor's Council successfully lobbied to reinstate gambling because it brings in the bulk of the $580,000 in concession bid revenues they're hoping to make. But under pressure from anti-gambling groups, senators tasked the mayors and Rev and Tax to come up with the rules and regs to make the gambling operations more accountable. DRT Director Daphne Shimizu says most of their focus will be on the card game house.
So the compliance officers are there to check ages. They're also there because we talked about ensuring that, for example, that there's no chip running on the floor, so that way all cash is really controlled, and if there's any chip purchasing, those chips are purchased within a cage or within a controlled area. That was very important to us and also to the mayors when we were discussing that, making sure that there's really good controls.
As a further control, cash won't be allowed at the card games. Instead, similar to Las Vegas casinos, the operators will have to issue chips, says Mayor's Council Director Angel Sablon.
If it has to have a chip in it, if it has to have a special marker on it, whatever, to make sure that it is an official chip only used for that operation, only for the 75th Liberation.
The gaming will be limited only to the 60-day run of the carnival, and gaming won't be allowed 24/7 as in years past, says Sablon.
The proposed time now is actually 5 p.m. to midnight, Monday to Thursday, and then 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday.
And let's
back
go
to
ahead
Sunday and on holidays. I mean, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday and Sunday we want to open a little earlier, have the kids be able to, because it's going to be a big carnival.
Like
so
10
we also want the outside vendors to be able to make their investment
money back too as well.
So we're looking at 12 noon.
Chairman Jose Pito Terlahi says the committee will revise the bill to accommodate the proposed amendments. They'll be presented on the floor for debate before the final version is voted on. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
An oversight hearing is currently underway for the Guahan Academy Charter School. The school apparently is in the hot seat with Education Oversight Chair Senator Talina Nelson. The senator has concerns on a number of levels, but first things first, why was GAC's charter renewed by the Charter School Council when the school isn't even accredited? Nelson is also planning to go over the public auditor's audit. That audit says auditors are doubtful about the school's ability to continue its operations, especially since GAC's assets don't cover the $3 million in debts owed to vendors. Nelson also wants to know if GovGuam will have to foot the bill for loans GAC's can't pay.
That's something I'm worried about as well. How is this going to impact us? How is this going to impact the government? Is the government going to be sued? Or is the Guahan Academy Charter School going to be sued?
Nelson is also concerned with GACS losing accreditation for its high school program. This affects students who will and have graduated from GACS, since they won't be able to secure federal college loans or even get into GCC with the GACS diploma, with the school asking for some $6 million in GovGuam money that comes out of an already cash-strapped DOE's budget. The senator is looking at all options.
Are we going to continue to move forward with something that is broken, or are we going to address the issue and perhaps transition into something that is more feasible? They have an elementary level that has candidacy status, and so maybe they need to focus in that area rather than trying to push something over a cliff when we already know that it has not been working for so many years.
Nelson says it could be more than 5 years before GACS regains its accreditation candidacy. The oversight hearing again is underway this hour. The Department of Corrections has filed a motion to dismiss a case filed by Brianna Lynn Meno. She is the sister of Justin Meno, an inmate who died in 2017, months after he was found outside the maximum security unit badly beaten, unconscious, bound and gagged. Last month, she filed a complaint against DepCorp for damages alleging civil rights violations. GovGuam, DOC, and then Director Tony Lamarena were accused of failing to conduct a thorough investigation into the incident, tampering with the presumed crime scene, and willfully destroying evidence. In the motion to dismiss, the Attorney General's office argues GovGuam and its agencies are not liable for damages, and DOC cannot sue or be sued in its own name. Stay tuned. We're back with more news right here on Primetime.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained, whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O display is the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with a 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
Get your life back and learn how to live sharper, leaner, longer, and better in 30 days or less. On Guam for 4 nights only, open to the public with free admission, 12 years and older. Life-changing seminars with Dr. David DeRose with co-presenter Sonia DeRose. 4 nights, 4 different topics, and it's free. April 22nd through the 25th, 6 p.m. at the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa. Space is limited. Seats are first come, first served basis. MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
Welcome back. Governor Lulian Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio announced the theme and logo for this year's 75th Liberation Celebration. Along with Lieutenant Governor, Speaker Tina Munoz-Barnes serves as co-chair of this year's Liberation festivities. The speaker explains the logo's significance.
We'll start with our sling stone. It was used by our ancestors in times of war and represents courage, resiliency, and perseverance. Our colors are the red, white, and blue. It brings together our shared history with the United States of America. Our stars represent our collective aspirations of global peace and harmony, and the white doves with the olive branch represents a perpetual peace, inclusion, with inclusion and diversity.
The theme of this year's Liberation is a legacy of peace and friendship. Several activities and memorials are planned to commemorate Guam's 75th. Additionally, Guam's own Pia Mia will be returning to island for a concert tentatively scheduled for July 20th. You can watch the stream of today's press conference on our Facebook page. The Department of Education giving students a taste test of what could be on the menu next school year. Chris Barnett broke bread with the kids and has more.
DOE letting students decide what could be on the menu in public schools. Sodexo and DOE cafeteria ladies cooking up a storm at JQ San Miguel. Redefining cafeteria food. Chicken taquitos, mac and cheese, fish sticks, chicken nuggets, and everybody's favorite, pizza. This slice getting the thumbs up from Island Board of Governing students, Devin Duque.
I'd give this, so far, 10 out of 10.
Last year, DOE had parents and staff taste test possible new dishes, but this year, they went with the people actually eating cafeteria food. Students.
It's a really great idea to have students. We have students from elementary, students from middle school, and students from high school.
Students given score sheets to rate dishes, which were prepared by DOE food service contractor Sodexo and DOE cafeteria staff. One of the big hits, garlic cheese bread.
It tastes really good. It's not so overbearing that the garlic flavor takes over, but you can taste everything, the bread, the cheese, the garlic. It's a really good combination.
Mac and cheese? What kid doesn't love mac and cheese?
That's good.
What are you tasting?
The mac and cheese with sliced ham, I think.
You taste a little bit of smoky flavor?
Kinda.
All the dishes cooked up according to USDA guidelines for school food nutrition. DOE Food and Nutrition Services Management Head Sean Monforti says DOE will look at which dishes students liked and then work with Sodexo and DOE in-house kitchens to meet in the middle with new menu items.
We will try to get it on the menu for next year.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
With regional headlines, here's KSBN 2 News.
Hafa Guam, here are the headlines for CNMI.
We are actually on day 2 of a Payless Paydays for my staff. See, every month we are supposed to receive an allotment of $7,500 that goes to paying your staff and operational costs for your office. And we have not received our funds, the $7,500.
As of yesterday, Representative Ed Propes, Chief of Staff, and 2 community workers were not paid due to insufficient funds.
There isn't even enough funds to cover our allotment so that we can pay our staff. And that means that we don't have any money to do the normal work we do in the community. So for now, we're ceasing all operations. That includes cleaning our roads, bush cutting, picking up trash, all the things that we do on a normal basis, on a weekly basis. And we have some projects that we were in the middle of. I told my staff to cease work for now until we get some word.
As Propes and other members of the 21st legislature informed that they were not made aware of this prior.
We did not receive any information that we were going to be having insufficient funds or getting less than what we are legally obligated to. So because of this, I'm deeply concerned that there has been no conversation. We've heard nothing from the administration. We haven't had a meeting with my colleagues in the leadership. And we're all in the dark on this.
As the minority members met, the majority also held an informal meeting in regards to the allotment cut in the House Speaker B.J. Attell's conference room. This was a closed-door meeting. When KSPN2 asked to enter, the speaker's staff said it's closed. And this cut raises questions such as,
is it just the legislature that's taking this cut, or did they cut the judiciary as well? Did they cut the administration? Because it has to be across the board. This is actually what they are doing right now is illegal. And I am seriously contemplating a lawsuit. If you look in the past, and you can look at the records on this, former Governor Ben Fitial was sued by former Congressman Stanley Torres for the very same thing. So unless we hear from the governor or from the administration as to when we are going to receive our allotment, we may seriously consider a lawsuit.
And you've reached out to the government or administration?
We have been waiting for word. I've reached out to the leadership. I've talked to some of our colleagues in the leadership and have asked, and they are setting up a meeting. I hope to be a part of that meeting because I would like to know what's going on.
KSPN2 reached out to the governor's office for further information and an interview, and received the response that governor is unavailable this week. In addition, KSPN2 called the Department of Finance, and Acting Secretary David Atalik is currently off island. Reporting for KSPN2 News, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Get screened for colorectal cancer. That is the message behind a new awareness campaign launched by the American Cancer Society, the University of Guam, Public Health, and the FHP Clinic. Representatives held a news conference, and their advice to the public is to get screened at age 50. And those with a family history of cancer should get tested much earlier. Marisha Artero is with the American Cancer Society.
Working on this life-saving campaign to achieve an 80%. It's no longer just a colonoscopy, but there are these very affordable and easy take-home tests that our community can now make use of. We know that through
the awareness campaign's goal is to double Guam's screening rate to 80% from the current 40%, which is also well below the 60% national rate. Colorectal cancer is one of the top 3 cancers on Guam, but also one of the most preventable. Precancerous polyps can be easily detected and removed, says Public Health's Lawrence Alam.
This is one of those cancers that are very, very preventable. The services are offered on island. The colonoscopies are available here. The fecal occult blood tests are available here. And so the message is really just to get out there and get that screening done, because if we catch it very, very early, I'm pretty sure you're not going to develop colon cancer in the future.
The awareness campaign will also address typical aversions and misconceptions about the screening. The panel says referrals by health providers are the key to getting the screening done, and a symposium for them is scheduled for June. Next with sports.
Ruby Tuesday's Seafood Sensations menu is back. Choose from your favorite dishes made with succulent lobster tail, shrimp, or our newest sensations with crab legs. Try out appetizers like crab fondue or stuffed shrimp. Pick an entree like the lobster tail or crab leg dinner. Select the lobster carbonara or the deep sea pasta. It's all ready and waiting for you. Get hooked on Seafood Sensations for a limited time only at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
Make every day a plus.
Try a double Filet-O-Fish sandwich for double the flavor, just in time for Lent. For a limited time, served after 10:30 a.m.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event, like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck, or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck, or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport, only $274 per paycheck. Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. In studio, Brian McGill from Game Time, and we're talking about youth football. You guys are from the Barrigada community. Can you tell us how the venture came about for you guys looking to start a youth football organization?
Well, I've been coaching with the mayor or actually working with the mayor for the last 4 years now, and every year I ask her, can we have a team? Every year I ask her, can we have a team? And it just finally happened that this year she said yes to me. So we are now putting a team together because the mayor finally said yes, let's do a team. And
you guys are located at the Teason football field.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And in the Barrigada Community Center. So we're kind of working in both areas right now.
And can you tell us a little bit of how kids can register if any parents interested in signing their kid up?
Oh man, one, we would love from that. First of all, as many kids that want to come, please come. All your registration can be turned in at the Barrigada Mayor's office down in at the Barrigada Community Center. If you don't know where it's at, find Crown Bakery and just go to the back. She's located right there. And then we will have some. We'll probably be out at the field one or two times in the next few weeks where we'll be doing some registration. But right now, all open registration is being handled at the Barrigada Mayor's office.
And I've known you from the basketball side of sports where you've coached several teams, but
yes.
How did you make the switch over to the football side?
Football has been my love. Being born, I'm born and raised in the great country of Texas. So because of that, football has been in my blood since I was born. So and having my son play football at a very high level and myself playing football at a very high level is the reason why we want to just give back a little bit of our knowledge to these kids. So I have to put basketball on the back burner for just a little bit, and then we'll pick it back up once the football goes again.
And how can people follow you guys? Any social media outlets that you guys are really trying to encourage participation within the community?
Yeah, you can look us up on Facebook. We're Game Time Guam, Facebook, and then there's an Instagram page. I don't know all the titles. I just know a Game Time Guam and an Instagram, and we're on there. I'm not an Instagram type of guy, but that's how you can follow us.
And you guys are looking roughly around the 5 to 6 year old up to 14?
5, 4. Well, according to what I was told, it's 4 to 15. So as many big 4-year-olds that want to come out and play, come on out. We'll take as many as we can get.
And I'm sure you guys are also looking for cheerleaders,
coaches, anything we can do to make this organization a success.
And you've done a lot in community, reaching out to the youth, and we talked about this off the set. Is our everyday lives kind of trickles off into what we do in the community as well, and your way of also trying to give back.
Yes, sir. And that's the only way I know how to live, is to give back. I didn't have the same things growing up that I would have loved to have. My mother and my father, we weren't poor, but my mother and my father, they weren't big into doing things in the house. They were big into doing things outside the house with the community and giving back to the community. So that was the reason why we didn't have a lot of things going on inside, because we were always out doing this. So it's part of my life to give back to the community. So everything we do builds purpose there's the purpose for that, to give back to the community.
And I think football is one of those sports too where it really teaches a lot within the kids.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I can't wait to see what it builds in the kids that are coming up. The kids are going to be working with us, and the kids are working with other organizations. I'm already excited. I'm excited about the season, and it hasn't even come yet.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Anything else you want to get out there?
Oh man, please hit us up. Game Time Guam. www.GameTimeGuam. Game Time Guam, Facebook, Game Time Guam, Instagram. We'll let you know what's going on in our organization. And by the way, we are putting together a concert, but we'll talk about that a little later.
All right, thanks for coming on the show. That's it for sports. We're back.